Hello everyone, this is Srikanth Rajan from AR Pro. AR Pro is the world's largest network of professionals from the auto industry, and if you're not on AR Pro yet, go to the link given here and register yourself to become a free member. Well, RevUp is an initiative by AR Pro where we bring you veterans from the auto industry who share their life experience and their career path with us here on the show. And this could have a lot of learnings for all of us and also would help us set a goal to ourselves. So, like every week, we have a very special guest today. We have with us Pro Chandrasekhar Tandavani, who is the CEO of Cresco Maruti at Chennai. He comes with a great deal of experience in the auto industry and started his career in the hotel industry and moved on to the auto industry. Pro Chandrasekhar, welcome to Rev Up with AR Pro.
Well, before I interview or the presentation, let me confess my appreciation and congratulations for the wonderful initiative that you have taken, which sets a platform for the youngsters to learn from the experiences of several individuals who have learnt it in the hard way. And I'm extremely proud and privileged and happy that I'm a part of this program with you. So, to begin with, let me introduce myself as my name is Chandrasekhar Tandapani. I hail from Chennai, and I worked in about four industries, beginning from hospitality, then to office automation, then to information technologies, then to automobile. Overall, in all these four industries put together, I have about 3.5 decades of experience, all from Chennai. Though I have traveled extensively globally and within India for both business and pleasure, but my base was always from Chennai. And I'm extremely grateful and proud to be a part of this wonderful state, Tamil Nadu, which has set several roadmaps for several industrialists across the globe and also several individuals, industrialists, to set up their environment of business in the state of Tamil Nadu. And I belong to the state. And I have a family which consists of my mother. Of course, I lost my father about a year back. My mother lives with me, and I have my wife and daughter. She's about 29 years old. She's done her post graduation in uh, sales and marketing and also advertising. So that's my personal background and the professional background. Now I leave the floor to you to ask any question that you may like to ask.
Thank you. It's great to have you on our show as well. So, tell us about your career path. How did it all start?
To begin with, as I said, that I hail from Chennai, and just I was doing my college education. Uh, I started my education in the hotel management in Chennai after my plus two, after my schooling. So during the college days, those days, what will happen is as a part of curriculum activity, we will be sent to hotels for internship program at the end of the week as a weekend program, which also facilitates as a part-time earning opportunities those days, which was more of fascination to us because those money will be used for our pocket expenses during our college days, so that we are not dependent on our parents. So that gave us a motion in our professional life, that while educating yourself, you also earn money for your own living. That's how the whole lifespan started with me. So never ever I had to look back or be dependent on my parents or anyone within the family to support financially whatever I may wish to do at any given time, because I was parallelly earning at every given time. So therefore, in a nutshell, if you can say, it could be a self-made individual, which also helped me in a way, in a larger way, in terms of aspiring my own professional career growth and my own personal achievement, which I wanted to achieve at every given time. That's how the life started. So initially, about 5.5 years, I was in the hospitality industry, handling guest relations and more of public relation and selling of hotel rooms and banquet halls. which allowed me to interact with majority of corporate clients across India. The people who travel from, let's say, Delhi, Bombay, Calcutta to Chennai, we were to give them the room accommodation for those executives who come from corporate companies, and also for the conference facilities which they wish to have in a hotel. We used to sell the banquet hall and banquet programs, including beverages. So the first 5 years of my life went on that. Then at one time, I felt I must move out of the hotel industry and try out something different, because the age was there, the energy was there, and the enthusiasm was there. So there was nothing I was lacking behind at that point. An opportunity came in my way to take up an assignment of frontline selling office automation products like photocopiers, Modi Xerox, photocopiers. So I started that profession from the frontline selling, as selling office automation equipments. So Modi Xerox was the top brass company in hiring the best of the talent in the industry, and it was more of a hire and fire responsibility. Like you are given a target at every given period of time, be it a month, be it quarterly, be it half yearly, or be it annually. And if targets are not achieved, you are fired. That's the way it was. The atmosphere was, and necessary input that was required was provided by the company, no matter how much ever you were qualified. You could be even a PhD doctorate, but you had to still undergo the training program that was to be given by the company. So I was fortunate that way. I stayed in that industry for about 11 years. Added to my persistence in the industry, year on year, I was on target. So every year, those days, we were given incentive program to travel abroad on a holiday to one of those Far East countries. So if you look at my resume today, that will speak about every year I've gone through one of those countries on a target achievement bonus trips. Add, Added to that, the company also gave a lot of training programs, like the leadership through quality management program. We call it as LTQMP program. We call it as professional selling program, which is PSS, professional selling skill program. And we also call it as major accounts management MAM program, that is large account managements, then key account management. So several programs. So I was one of those fortunate to have undergone programs in all categories during the period of 11, 12, 11 years. And there came a stage where I thought enough is enough in this industry, let me move up. Married. Then I felt something new, because my wife was electronics, a computer science engineer. So that fascinated me a bit, that I must try out in IT field, so that I could share some of her experiences of learnings in the colleges with me. If she speaks of any language like basics, C plus, A plus, B plus, whatnot those days. Because I come from hotel management course and graduation course, which is a commerce program. Then this job came from TVS Electronics. They were looking at somebody who could handle large management, bid management, which is any tender that is in excess of 30 lakh and above for a peripheral product, along with the hardware. The centralized corporate office should handle that bid management. So that's when that offer came to me to take up that responsibility. I took it up, and I made a change in that industry, because peripheral was always considered as an ancillary to the hardware vendor who sells the PCs, and they dictate the terms of pricing for peripherals in any large tender. I realized at a point we were not making any margins. We were only manufacturing at cost price and giving it to the peripheral, sorry, hardware vendor, and they were quoting it at a bigger price, which we were not anyway. Then I took up an initiative of contacting Director General of the stores and supplies, the DG in Delhi. I floated an exclusive tender for peripherals in the industry of IT. as a standalone tender so that my product will be listed out in the DGS&D rate contract. So any of the public sector or government enterprise wanted to buy peripheral, they did not go through an hardware vendor. They can directly buy it from a peripheral vendor, which is one of us. So I floated that initiative of a tender policy and won the tender, got it registered in DGS&D. Then Government of India purchases through DGS&D rate contract. That was a marvelous effort which we took, and I achieved it. At the end of it, we got multiple crores of orders during that railway computerization period and income tax computerization period, and also central excise computerization period in the year of somewhere around 2000, year 1998 and 2000. Many of the hardware vendors were extremely disappointed because they lost their business of peripheral share because of this initiative, because a leader always feel that he should be top of the role, he should never be on the tail end of a role. So when I felt for peripheral sale I have to be at the tail end of a transaction, hand holding with the hardware vendor, professionally I did not feel respected individually. When it was not a direction from the company to go on for a DJs and a rate contract, it was a self-made initiative which I took. I mean, these are the learnings which today I can proudly put it up to the youngsters. If there is a will, there is a way, as saying goes. If there's a will, there's a way. If you set your goal that you have to be successful in your professional life, or if you want to achieve any accolades, you have to set your own roadmap and get going, and see that you are being supported, the company from whom you are representing or the people team up with. The goal has to be set by the individual, and achievement also has to be enjoyed by the individual along with his team members who have contributed the support. So that achievement was done about 4 years. Then TVS Electronics did some organizational restructuring. At that point, the bid management became a part of the business head responsibility at different locations like Tamil Nadu, Andhra, Karnataka states. That's when I saw an advertisement from Popular Vehicles in the year of 2002 asking for somebody who could head the operation in Chennai. That's when I applied for the post. It was those days called customer acquisition head customer acquisition, and I was given that responsibility. Then I realized after having joined the company that the letter of intent was issued to Popular in the year of 2000 for setting up an establishment in Tamil Nadu. For 2 years, they were possibly looking for somebody who could take up the responsibility. I think come through well. And in the year 2002, I think Sushil Joseph was the head at that time. So I still have a great regard for Mr. Sushil, who recruited me in auto industry in the year of 2002, when Popular was looking for somebody to uh, start their operation in Chennai. Then after having joined them only, I realized that Maruti has invited them to start their operation in Chennai to increase their market share in the year of 2000. I think for about almost 2 years, they were scouting for somebody who could handle the responsibility. Possibly they did not find any. Maybe it was a God sent candidate from my side to him, so that they could get established well. Because that company per se, it's a very good company to work for. The people, the culture, all that is extremely pleasant atmosphere to work in that environment. And I was given the responsibility of start their operation in Chennai, including scouting of places, both the sales and service, and the other programs later on to follow with. So that's one of the reason I have a great regard for Mr. Sushil Kumar, who was then CEO of Popular. He had come down to Chennai in the year of 2002 for interviewing the shortlisted candidate. I think they had about 4 or 5 candidates, and finally they narrowed down to me. By 2003 March, we finalized the showroom service. The operation kickstarted on March 21st of 2003. That happened to be incidentally the chairman, Mr. Paul, KP Paul, his birthday. So it's just a coincidence. When I had to consult one of the astrologer to give me a date, suitable date for inauguration, he coined the date of March 21st. Then only I realized that happened to be the chairman's birthday. It was, and that's why I said it was the blessings of Almighty for that company to do well in Chennai. And I was the instrument to establish that operation in Chennai. We started off well. And we slowly grew up from steps to step, with several achievements. In between, at the end of the year, when Mr. Jagdish Katur visited one of the dealership meet in Chennai, he looked at the Chennai statistics and conveyed and appreciated the contribution that was made in increasing their market share without eating away in their existing dealership market share. So, which means when Popular having come to Chennai, we did not eat away the existing Maruti share of other dealers. We expanded the market in a virgin area. So that's one of the first achievement which we have made, and he acknowledged that in an open meeting, and I'm evident to that statement. Then we achieved stage by stage. We made changes in the industry. Those days in automobile industry, people normally used to wear, casual attire and work on handling customers. Because of my hotel background and the Xerox background and all that, we were never used to come for work without a tie and white, a plain shirt types atmosphere as a professional. So I introduced the system of wearing ties and uniform structure in sales. So that made the change in customer handling and customer relationship. Customers slowly gained confidence in dealing with us as a company, because we mean business, we mean with professional etiquette, we mean to honor our commitment. And customers were never taken for a ride. Those days, even Maruti used to have sales satisfaction index. The highest score used to be 800. So, from day one on the launch of the program, my aim was to establish the entire organization, work towards achieving the program, not by any shortcuts or any shortcut means. The systems and processes should ensure that we achieve the score with customers' feedback, and we should sustain in that environment. That was my approach, and eventually we achieved it. Along with that, we also achieved 3 consecutive years in a span of about 36 months consecutively. We were the number one in the state of Tamil Nadu in an automobile industry where few others like Kivraj, Cars India, or ABT, who were veterans, and they are a Tamil Nadu based organization, a company of Kerala state, establishing in Tamil Nadu and sustaining the position of number one for 36 months is a remarkable achievement, I would say. Not that I did it on my own, as a team who worked along with me, contributed to the mission of the organization. As a leader, I only took participation in their contribution, which made us to sustain in that position. By then, we established about 3 workshops and 3 showrooms in Chennai. I felt about 11 years in Popular Vehicles. I need a change. I needed a change because it was a mundane activity. I had to look after numbers, look after target achievement. I needed something challenging. Then I resigned from Popular, took up an assignment in partnering with another industrialist in Tamil Nadu, establishing a dealership of my own in the brand of Hyundai. I applied for Hyundai dealership along with another co-partners. We were three partners establishing the dealership with equity share in the capital, and we also support for working capital and so on. The day I applied for Hyundai dealership, the zonal head, Mr. Lee, came out of the cabin with a stretched arm looking for me. He said, "Where have you gone? I was only looking for you." That was the word used by Mr. Lee. I said, "Why?" He said, "Only today I was thinking I must somehow try to meet you into our system." He thought I would have come there asking for a job. I went in for taking a dealership. He said, you have come with one step above my expectation. I thought you'll come here for a job, but you have come for a dealership. I'm too glad to give you." That's the word he exactly used and gave me a lap. We two, three of us signed the application. Then we were sent to Delhi, interviewed. LOI was issued the next 48 hours. Just imagine a brand like Hyundai inviting an employee until the previous day to be an entrepreneur to start their own brand. That's the credibility I enjoyed in this industry in the state of Tamil Nadu and Chennai. It's only because of my own professional etiquette and sheer approach in my working culture, nothing else. Then we started the dealership. That went on for about 1.5, 2 years. Then there was policy disagreement between directors because his son intervened in the business. Obviously, when youngster comes into the feels more of father's business than the director's equity share in the business. So obviously, there is a disagreement in some policy matters or some investment matters. I felt let us be as friends. Let's not continue anymore with professional relationship. I sold my shares back to the promoters, took an exit with an arrangement that we will remain as friends. Then the proposal came from back to Square A, Sushil Kumar. He called me that same day when I came back home after signing off my assignment with them. I still remember the day. I came back and sat in my sofa, looked at my puja room. I asked my beloved Lord, Satya Sai Baba Bhagwan, I said, "What next?" There comes a phone call from Sushil Kumar. The moment I said, "What next?" I get a phone call from him saying, "Chandu, what are you doing?" I said, "This is what has happened just now, and I'm back home." He said, "We have started a consultancy called Grow Change Global Consultancy along with Hari Krishnan and few others. One Rajshekar Pillai from McKinsey background. We have signed an agreement with Advait Hyundai in Bangalore for service, an arrangement which has been happening for the last 1.5, 2 years time. They also want us to take them through on sales. So we thought with your help, we can move ahead with that program." I said, "Why not?" Then I got into that program as an independent professional arrangement with Grow Change Global along with the team members of Hari Krishnan, Sushil Kumar, and Rajshekar Pillai. Where there the structure was like this: when an arrangement was signed with the dealership, we do a diagnostic study of the dealership from entry to exit by spending 7 to 8 full working days understanding the entire environment and do a consultative approach amongst the founders and co-founders and the independent professional and come out with the program. What is that we can do in that dealership in the next span of 2 years if the contract is given to us, and what will be the number of man days we will spend in what are the project areas our experiences or expertise will be shared with them in improving their efficiency without incurring any additional cost. So I was given the program of handling the diagnostic study. I did that in Advait Hyundai. Instantly, Advait Hyundai happens to be the largest dealer of Hyundai cars In the global operation of 363 countries for Hyundai, Advait Hyundai is the largest dealer in the world in terms of volumes of cars that he sells in the state of Karnataka. And such is the privilege given to me to be an advisor in their sales operation for handling that project for 2 years. So we did a diagnostic study. We presented to the management of Advait Hyundai. They were completely flabbergasted. The kind of data we went through, the kind of studies we have done within the organization. They said, yes, you can take over the program from tomorrow. That's what Mr. Jain said in the presentation when we made. I'm sure Hari Krishnan, if he's watching this program, he will acknowledge my statement because he was also present in that presentation. And we signed and took up the program. As we were doing, we were also given another dealership in Shimoga, which is another B class town in Karnataka. He also wanted us to take participative in his operation. I got involved in that company also, handling the diagnostic study. And I think in Advait Hyundai we titled the product called Accelerate, and in Shimoga, Rahul Hyundai, we titled a project called Fast Track, putting their business in the fast track. For that title, we did the study of the entire organization from entry to exit and handled them for about 2 years. As we were doing that, the promoter took up the Renault dealership. See, his contribution from our side, a solo independent dealer such as Rahul Hyundai in a small town called Shimoga, a B class town, I don't think he would sign for a next brand with us for another contract. He signed another contract with us for Renault for the another dealership which he took. So that again we did another diagnostic study, entry to exit, and carried on their business. We gave a different project title there, and we did during the course of the 2 year program. We handled these three projects. Then came the bombshell in 2020 when all of you know the big virus called Corona put us all back home atmosphere. We never could go out anywhere outside the our compound gate, so we were stuck inside the house. We couldn't even get going with our video conference or any telephonic advice or approach because most of the showrooms were shut. But all three of them have seen remarkable uh, change in their results, be it productivity of salesmen, be it number of cars sold, be it customer satisfaction index, be it repeat business that they acquired from the existing customer for the second cars, be it the referral business which they generated out of the first car buyers, and be it employee retention, be it employees earning potential, be it a healthy working environment within the office because of our involvement in every sphere of their operation. And dealer owners gave us the free hand, considering the maturity at which we dealt their business or guided them. I mean, the whole effort goes as a team. At the back end of the entire approach of my support during this consultancy period, Sushil Kumar was spearheading the innovative thoughts and designs, time to time inputs on strategic approach. That gave us going for a period of 2 years. Then came 2020. The year ended with a bad note that none of us could do anything for the full year. Though the contract is still on, we still have not concluded anything. But in the meanwhile, in 2021, beginning of 2021, yeah, to be very precise, on the January 31st or February 1st this month, when I was contemplating what I should do during the year 21, when the corona is still not gone out of the wind, my family was also reluctant in making me move out of Chennai, if at all, if I had to during this period. While I was contemplating, I must accept the fact that Maruti invited me for a discussion during the first week of February and gave me a couple of proposals on business acquaintances. One such proposal is they wanted my help to establish the dealership operation in Chennai, who has recently taken over the existing dealership from the previous owners. A group, a group consisting of new gen ventures. One of them are from US and one of them is from Rajamundry. One of them is from Hyderabad and all that. So I frankly don't know them. It was Maruti who invited me and said, "This is what we have an offer to you. How would you like to participate?" I think it's again a godsend proposal to me. I had the discussion on the 2nd of February and I took over this operation on 4th of February. And by the way, in fact, I still haven't applied. I still haven't got my application submitted, biodata submitted, but I am in the position of CEO with an offer letter as an equity share contribution, which will be offered to me if I turn around this business. So, uh, this is that's how I am today in this office from last this month 4th onwards. Today we are on 20th, almost 15 days.
That was great to know. Could you also recall some of your experience of dealing with customers in the auto industry?
Well, I from day one to till today of my career, I always believed that customers should be treated with dignity and respect, not on the basis of value. Even if a customer deals with us for one bill value could be for 500 rupees or it could be even 50 lakh. He is a customer of us. It is we who have chosen him to be a customer, and it is our responsibility to fulfill his requirement. That's a fundamental belief I've always had right from day one of my career. So that only I translated it in reality when it comes to dealing with car customers. And in car customers, the industry operates in two set of segment. One is the customers who would like to buy a product from us, and we have very little to add value to the product because products are manufactured by biggest brand like biggies like Marutis and Hyundais and so on, and they have their own several testing methodologies, technology improvisation, and reach out their product to the customers through dealerization on in respective towns. So therefore very little we can contribute in those segments. The best what we can do is deal the customer the way how he expects us to deal with them and retain them for future business. That is one set. The other set is we are dependent on the employees. The dealer owner, how much ever money if he has invested in creating an infrastructure by employing people in hundreds of people today, when the whole world is struggling for survival, automobile industry is the one which is today looking for employees even today, because we are our entire business turnover depends on our employees. So employees satisfaction is the utmost priority, which will translate into customer reality. So I always believed it. In fact, in today's morning meeting I shared, when to explain the team what is Cresco meaning, because today I'm representing Cresco Maruti. Cresco has its own reason behind for naming this Cresco, because in one of the discussion, I heard it from the US director that Cresco in uh, the meaning in what word he said in German. In Germany language, it's called. It means growth. Okay, So I translated to our boys and team members here. Cresco is nothing but customer relationship employee satisfaction company. CRESCO. I said customer relationship employee satisfaction company. What I mean to say, these are the two set of people to whom we deal with. One set of people is our customer, second set of people is our employees. If both remains happy constantly, our business survival is never a doubt, never a doubtful situation. So my focus point was always to take care of my customers. And the response to customer requirement those days, I ensured that within 4 hours, before the norm of present 1 hour came, I introduced a norm of 4 hours, considering the travel time in city like Chennai. If an inquiry comes from a 10-15 kilometer distance, considering the traffic congestion which one has to undergo to meet the customer, today the IT enables to have a virtual meeting with the customer sitting on the desktop. But those days we were completely dependent on personal contact. So I set a target of within 4 hours they should meet the customers, including travel time and meeting of the customers. So the customer would always regardless of the price, the customer will always have highest of the regard to the person whom he met first and shared information. And he learns from the salesman. No customer is knowledgeable at the beginning. He meets man, learns his inputs on the product, pricing, and the offers. He sends him off. With that information, he deals with the second set of salesmen from a different company, starts negotiating with the third set of a salesman with another brand. Finally, he goes back to the salesman one and tells him, "Boss, this is what I have the offers on the market. Now, what you have to offer?" That is how the industry has come up today. So therefore, it's always customers who stands priority number one in my approach.
What are the key factors that has helped you and your team achieve success in this auto industry?
See, as the saying goes, leaders should lead the role by example, setting an example. So if I am convinced, yes, this in this market we can make the dent, or we can create the change, or we can achieve our own aspiring goal, I should first be confident of myself and buy out that conviction and share it with my team members and make them feel that they are the owners of that objective. It's not that I communicate an objective and make them do it. The biggest change in getting the success is that the objective or the goal should be owned by the doer or the contributor. I think that made the difference firstly, because the team in which I was involved in, right from sales managers to sales executives to team leaders to HR managers to GM sales to so many set of people, they all uh, accepted the fact. Yes, they are the people actually who contributed it. I only tabulated the number, but I was leading the team. You see the difference. I never sold even one car, to tell you the fact. But I was a team member in selling that many cars. Whatever lead which I got it through my own references, I will ensure that it is given to any of the team member who's near to me at that point of time. I never had any uh, uh, favoritism done to any individual, that my leads, my VIP customers have to be dealt by only XYZ and so on. Any lead in any given month, I would get about 25 leads minimum, references from my own social circle, known circle, my own brand, which gives the city of Chennai people to deal with me from various third party reference, fourth party reference, second party reference, the first hand reference. all that whenever it comes to me, I will ensure it is given to any of the team member. The idea is to ensure any of my team member should be contributing the same level of response to the customer, be it 1 year old experienced guy or a be it 5 year old experienced guy. So my focus was always to ensure to get the optimum contribution at the quality level. So therefore, customer relationship was never doubted or never dealt with cash. It was always dealt with a professional approach. So the customer starts, gaining confidence in dealing with us. That was the first approach. The second point is the discipline. Discipline in the official environment. Office matters have to be dealt with in a way it has to be dealt with. It's never personalized official matter. It is an officially official matter, which means an office starts at 9 o'clock, which means it's 9 o'clock. It's neither 8:59 nor at 9:01. So 9 o'clock they come into the office till 6 o'clock. They have to be on toes. So which means their full time uh, involvement in the office made the difference. And the third is the people who were to contribute to the performance, they were looked after well. If there was a personal problem in the family of any of the employee, or if there is any ill health or any personalized deficiency, it was heard very well, and it was helped in a way, if there was a possibility to help him or her. Otherwise, at least he was given the liberty to handle his problem first and then come for work next. That was the approach, because you can't shoulder everybody's problem on your shoulder. This is not a charity or a trust, nor we are the divine force to create miracles. We are a normal human being. At least we can give her a shoulder, give us our shoulder, give them our shoulder in hearing them what they are into, and giving them suggestions if there is a possibility, or give a helping hand. Otherwise, leave them free to complete their problem. So that was the approach. Fourthly, the customers, if at all, if they had any deficiency in the service, or if any of their claims were not addressed properly, it was immediately, without any second thought or without any delay. For foremost important focus point. Any customer complaint or any customer's feedback or improvisation of efficiency, that was always addressed on top priority. Fifth, as I said, I was a participative member in the entire organization. I was never a dictator. I was a participative member. Though I was a driving force, but I was always a team player. I was never a dictator.
Of course, I reciprocate those thoughts of yours. That's really important in today's world. Now, coming to the next part, that is your entrepreneurial journey. So, tell us about your journey from an employment to being an entrepreneur.
See, that's a big change, because from one of the advantage, I would say, as an employee in Popular, I must acknowledge and convey my sincere thanks to the promoters of Popular Vehicles, who are none other than Mr. John K. Paul and Francis K. Paul. They gave a lot of liberty as a independent profit center head in terms of handling responsibilities. Though they had the control mechanism at the corporate office, but majority of the decisions were decentralized those days. So which means you were operating a business of your own at the cost of a group's investment. And in the parallel line, you're also given opportunity to learn your own entrepreneurship skills. In fact, if I recollect, one of the quality statement of Popular Vehicle is this: that you must be a leader by acquiring customers and retaining customers with your own entrepreneurship skills. So that gave me a platform to learn the tricks of the trade. But I was enjoying always as a as a leader of a location with a brand behind, such as Popular and Maruti. From that level to getting on to an entrepreneur on my own with the brand, of course, Hyundai. That as a standalone brand, it is there. But me as a Chandrasekhar Tandapani does not have any entrepreneurship brand, but I have to start it from all over again, all over again, all over. If you name a job that had to be done to set up a workshop and showroom, believe me, I had to do the exercise which I carried out 11 years back for Popular. I had to do it all over again. By then, I was almost 52. When I started my entrepreneurship, I was at the age of 52. But when I joined Popular, I was at 40. But imagine the energy level of a human being at 40 and a 52. But I had to do the job of a 40-year-old man at the age of a 52. But I still did it. I still did it. But I must also convey that when I established both sales and service, I never advertised for recruitment. Not even 1 rupee I spent. But I had about 278 people recruited at the beginning, first day of our operation, including sales, service, PDI, workshop managers, all that. Not to, so that was at the first year, at the end of the first year. I think at the beginning of the year, I had about 140 people, correct? 140 people, 140. 140 employees were recruited without even 1 rupee spent in the year of 2015. And today you see, after joining Cresco, one of the reason I am here in Cresco is because the biggest gap what Maruti felt in this operation is the people management. And people were not happy. People had all kind of pending issues, all kind of several because of the previous employers to the present owners. The people were not convinced of the fact how will the new transition will give them future again. So that's when Maruti plotted me here to bridge the gap. And to my surprise, and I must thank to my parents and my beloved Lord for giving me that kind of a credibility in the industry. Today, in a span of about 15 days, in fact, today morning I had a meeting with my one of the co-founder. He openly accepted the fact the environment what was in December and January and November, it's completely changed now in our enterprise in just about 15 days time. And we have so far recruited about 15 people, fresh people on board. And as it is, we have about 250 odd people. And there is a happy environment. People who left this organization about 2 months back, who had gone to Nagarkoil and Tanjavur and Thoothukudi and all, have come back and joined me today because they heard the fact that I have joined this company. Today morning, one of the finance executive who left this company in the month of December out of some issues has come back and joined today with the quote that, sir, I heard that you have come and taken over, and so told me that you will take care. Therefore, I would like to come back and join. And I pegged him at 2,000 rupees lesser than the salary which he left at in the month of December. I said, when you start performing only, I'll give you that gap of 2,000 rupees. And he's joined from today. Tell me if somebody has joined, left the company at 25,000 rupees salary in the month of December because of happiness in the environment, has come back and joined in the month of February with 23,000 rupees salary because I am here. I don't know that guy, nor have I worked with him, nor has he worked with me. But the market image and market credibility has convinced him that I will protect his interests and I will take care of him. So therefore, when I started this dealership in 2015, I didn't spend any money, but I was only focusing on creating infrastructure and creating process and systems People just flew in from different walks, and we recruited about 140 people and started the dealership. And by the time when I left, it was around 230 or 240 set of people. But the challenge is the energy level and the contribution and the mindset. See, you at the age of 52, if you have to start all over again with the energy level of 35s and 40s, it's not an easy job unless you are convinced and you are physically and mentally fit to do that. And I did that. Then at the age of 55, I had to travel Bangalore and Karnataka, assisting a dealership of the global topper, Advait Hyundai, in every pockets of their presence in Karnataka. You take a flight from here to Bangalore and land in Bangalore airport and travel about 2 hours to the city. Get into the car and go to another nearby city. So, which means your body and your mind should be so fit to travel and deliver results at their respective pockets. So, which means you have to be as fresh as 18-year-old boy even at the age of 58. And today, at the age of 59, I've taken over a dealership to re-establish their market share in the state of in the city of Chennai. It's a challenging role. It's a hot seat, though it's very glorified designation of CEO and nice cabin environment. You have a chauffeur-driven car, and you are given all perquisites. All that is fine, but at the end of the day, what is the bottom line? To that extent, one has to be energetic to deliver that result. As the saying goes, somebody will retire at the age of 59, and I have taken over a new assignment at the age of 59, as that of an 18-year, 20-year-old boy.
That is wonderful. Could you also share some of your experience or interesting incidents from your life and also your learnings from it?
See, experiences and the learnings. See, today, with about 3.5 decade of experience, it is itself an university of its own. So, the experiences I've gained in multifold situations teaches me at every given time a lesson. Okay, I'll give you an example. Way back in 2002, when I recruited one of the salesmen, and I offered him some target to achieve, and I asked him, "What do you want?" He says, "Sir, I will achieve my target. Please take me to a nice hotel and give me good lunch tomorrow." The lunch, what he meant was an ordinary Tamil Nadu meal. That's all he meant. He didn't ask for any five-star hotel meal. I felt very sad at that time. Poor guy, the background is so weak and bad that he's only working for his meal. He's not working for anything beyond. And by the way, that guy is a sales manager in one of the car dealership in Chennai. And recently, I met him in one of the shopping mall. He almost felt flat on the floor with me and said, uh, "Sir, I am like this today. It is because of you." I said, "No, it is because of your effort, man, not because of me." So take this as an example. Another experience, which is of a day before yesterday's in this new company. So I was casually talking to some of the employees because I had to get to know each one of them. No, so one of the salesmen, just about fresher from college, from some village town, he tells me, "Sir, I was to leave this company, but I heard you are joining. Therefore, I stayed back because I know if we perform well, you will take us to hotel and give us food. You see the difference between 2002 and 2022 or 21. 20 years later, the family status of Indian living is still struggling for food. We are not a hybrid, high class environment, people who are just about 5-10% in the country. Majority of the people are hand to mouth living. So the learning, what I learn is the contribution as an individual. What we must do is we must help that individual to make his living better. If I have to contribute as a corporate philosophy says CSR, which is the corporate social responsibility, from their profit share, the government of India says you contribute 5 or 10% towards CSR's development. I think every professionals in their own field, if they can take up an assignment of a personal social responsibility, which is called PSR, we will see a different India a few years later. I think that is convincing me to uh, uh, be of helpful in nature so that people can learn it and earn their own survival.
Could you recall some really challenging customer experience that you've had in your life?
See, I have had several experience of customers coming with hot blooded atmosphere to see to it that the showroom is thrashed down to pieces. The persons who are involved in transaction are chopped into pieces types. But if you give them a patient hearing and understand what he actually wants and address that point carefully without mixing words, and what is deliverable and what is not, he understands. I'll tell you one of the experiences. We sold Maruti 800 those days in great demand. One of the customer who happens to be a structural engineers SERC research centers chief scientist. He had booked a car, and those days waiting period was 3 months time, and he came to our showroom one evening around 8 o'clock that his car was not given. But at the same time, the car had got dispatched those days. Through lorry transport it used to come, and it will take about 12 days from Delhi to Chennai, Gurgaon to Chennai. And the car had left some 4-5 days prior to his visit. When he had visited the showroom around 7:38, I told him, "Sir, your car has been dispatched. It will come in about 3-4 days time from now. Usual transit time is about 8 days. You will get it in about 3-4 days time. You wait." But he was not willing to accept because he had already waited for 3 months time, and he there was no proper response for his immediate requirement and so on. Finally, I had to tell him, "See, look, I can't tell you anything beyond. I can only tell you that in the next 3 to 4 days time the car will come to you. Anything beyond, the God only knows. Anything before, the God only knows. I don't know anything." That man took it so personally, believe me or not, Srikant. He wrote a nasty letter to MD of Maruti, that what kind of a GM you have. This fellow says God only knows and all that. The whole letter traveled alone within Maruti at different levels, including the RMs. And the RM came running to me. He said, "Look, from MD's office, this letter has come. Why have you replied like that?" I told him, "Boss, that is a fact. The car was dispatched from Maruti. Here is the note I have. Normal transit time is 8 days. He came in the middle of the transit time, which is 4 days. Balance remaining is another 4 days. If he wanted anything before or after, I can't tell him, I can't help him. God only knows. That's a fact. Only after the car comes, I can deliver." He said, "Come, let's go meet him." So we went and met him. He was a chief scientist in SERC. He made us stand in the car shed for 2 hours waiting. Then he came down, spoke to us for half an hour, as usual, some story, all that. He never gave an apologetic letter to that, nor did he give a satisfaction letter. He said, "Till the car comes, I will not give." To our dismay and belief, the car came 2 days later than the 4 days. Some truck delay. The car came. We delivered the car. He said, "No, I will not give satisfaction letter. I will give you only after the car is performed well for about 30 days or so, till the first service." We said, "Okay." To our bad time, the steering column had rusts, absolutely rusted around the steering column. And he, being the structural research scientist, his primary job was to see all the RC building not getting rusted. Here is a metal element getting rusted. And he called us to the SERC again, ripped us apart in the car shed. So we said, "See, but what can we do? The car was sent by the manufacturer. We delivered the car. You parked your car." He was living in Besant Nagar, which is a seaside area. I said, "It is because of your seaside corrosion. This would have happened. We can't help it." We tried our best to convince him, but he never accepted. Then came one more scientist. Luckily, one more scientist went by that site for his lunch. I think he wanted to take his car and go home for lunch. He heard us pleading him, literally requesting him, "Boss, accept the fact it is because of this reason." Then that man intervened the conversation and said, "Look, even my car has the same problem." And he also quoted another person of the same locality also has the same problem. Then we took one step above. See, now it is your own locality problem, not our car problem. So you better put a car inside the car shed, not in an open car park. The very minor problem, but he was not willing to accept. Then he accepted the fact. Then he took us up to the room, gave us coffee. That's when he gave us coffee and gave us the letter after 30 days of time. So the lesson I learned out of this is any customer who's with the boiling nature, if the problems are really understood, be it technical, be it manual, be it financial problem, if it is heard and addressed properly, without mixing words, without taking him for a ride with our own beliefs and faiths, I think we will be able to win over the confidence of the customer. That was one of experience. Another experience is it was during the time of my salesmanship in when you handle customers. I'm going back to my 25 years, 30 years back experience I can never forget in my life, because I met Mr. Maman Mapillai as a salesman of Modi Xerox, which was extremely difficult to meet. But I met him at that time because those days our direction was to only meet the managing directors of the company, nothing less than that. So those days we'll never meet even the GMs and vice president, because according to us those were Lallu Papu's designation. Only MDs were recorded as the highly designated designation, because they are the decision makers of any purchase. I mean, we were taught in our school of thought, we were taught like that. And I met him. So he sent me to Mr. Ravi Maman. I met him. So he accepted my product and he said, "Go ahead." He gave direction to the purchase department to place an order. There came a purchase man executive who happened to be some of his family member, I think. He held the file for some justification of buying that product. He made me run behind him for 1 year. The order which was to be acquired on the same day delayed it by an year because he had to study the proposal and cost, utilization, investment, and so on. But I never let him free. My persistent visit was always there with him. Every alternate day, I'll go to him. Those days, there was no mobile phone. We had to go physically, Dunn Building in Mount Road. I'll go park my bike, go up, meet him, sir, good morning, and go out of the room. That's all I will talk to him. I will not even ask him my order. I went consistently 1 year. Every alternative day or once a week, I will go and visit him, wish him for the day, and go out. Finally, one day at the end of the period, he felt extremely bad that he was holding the file for 1 year. He called me inside. He said, "Now what you want?" I said, "Boss, I don't know what I want. I gave you the direction from MD's office to give me the order, but you never gave it to me. You had your own reasons. Please study it and tell me." Then he took a lighter role and studied and gave me the order that day evening, the same day, which otherwise you could have done it 1 year back. This again I learned persistence and determination to achieve your objective with sincere effort, you can succeed.
That absolutely was great to know about your career path and the kind of challenges that you faced in your career. In fact, we are glad to host you on this show and thank you again for coming on our show.
Thank you.
So, team, I'm sure all of you enjoyed this show with Pro Chandrasekhar, who shared his great deal of experience of being a employee to a journey of being an employer to again handling more challenges in his life. So, team, of course, these are all different experience that we bring in front of you so that you can know that challenges are there in everybody's life and we need to face them and go ahead, and that is when we achieve success. So, with that, this is Srikant Rajan signing off until we catch up on the next show where we have a brand new guest. But before that, do remember to subscribe to our channel to ensure that you get notified of all new videos. And do share this video with your friends and colleagues, which could inspire them to grow in the auto industry. Goodbye.